It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Wrap Podcast, the place to catch up on all the regional and national rugby in Wales. You can find us on all the usual social media platforms and message us through there if you want, or you can email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. So all the boring stuff out the way, let's talk rugby. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Wrap Podcast with me, Lee G. Joining me as always is Carwyn and Jamie. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good evening, Lee. How you doing, mate? Jamie, you all well?
Oh, good. Yeah, good. Thank you.
So we're missing Reese this week, and I think he's run out of rooms to move into while he has his extension. But I see that he's in the JCB or something, isn't he? He's so he'll be back next week, hopefully, but he's not with us this week. So there'll be no conversation about Cardiff and the Sharks, I'm afraid. None.
It's a shame.
None at all. But we'll just have to get through somehow. So
I'd quite like to talk about Bulls and Leinster, to be honest, because that was quite interesting. But anyway, that's a couple of weeks ago. But go on.
So let's start with drink of the week. Carwyn, you look like you've got something interesting. What's your drink of the week?
I actually didn't buy it myself. My wife bought it for me, and it's in recognition of the Wales women doing so well this year. And this is called Jemima's Pitchfork. It's a golden ale brewed by the Glamorgan Brewing Company, 4.5%. And it says, named for Jemima Nicholas, who single-handedly ended the 1797 Battle of Fishguard using only a pitchfork.
Mm-hmm.
And this award-winning golden ale is a proper cult classic. And it is lovely. It was really nice.
I had it a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, and people in Fishguard love to talk about Jemima.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Never get stuck in the Royal Oak in Fishguard and say, "Who's that woman on the wall? What's that picture on the wall for?" That's just a recipe.
Yeah. Well, I was in a pub on Monday called the Grange, and they had Mikey Raya on tap. But I was actually drinking cider. But they also, it's a crafty devil it is. But where's my pictures? They also had another one, which is called, and it's the only one that the crafty devil brew anyway. It's like a world exclusive called Dr. Grangelove. And it's meant to be very nice. So when I go down to the Crafty Devil next, I'll be purchasing some Mikey Reyes and some Dr. Grangelove, which I'm rather looking forward to. Anyway.
Mikey Reyes all dear, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What you got there, Jake?
Well, I went to Tiny Rebel on Saturday because there was a festival.
I'm not
No,
having
it was
time,
really
sorry,
good.
Jane. Let me stop you there. When we went out for Judgment Day, I drunk some of that, and it was bloody awful, and I felt awful the next day and the day after.
I don't know what pint you bought, but it was fucking rank. If you just stuck to the normal stuff that we had told you to drink,
it was
but not
horrible.
whatever you brought back to the table, because not even I know what that was.
I
like to think
tried to wash it down with
the
the kebab, but the kebab didn't work either.
Literally, I gave it to everyone, and they all said it was shit. I don't know what the fuck you got us. It was awful.
Tiny rebel, my ass.
I'll just get with it, Carwyn. Honestly, God. Right. So
anyway, go on.
We went to Tiny Rebel on Saturday in Newport City Centre because they had a festival. It was really good. They had live bands. There was family entertainment. Megan had her face painted, and she had free candy floss, and it was really nice. It was a good summer's day, so we went to Tiny Rebel, and I normally have Club Tropicana. That's my normal beer of choice at Tiny Rebel. Sometimes I have a Kutch, but I normally go for Club Tropicana. But I tried a new beer on Saturday. I haven't had it before. It's called Electric Boogaloo, and it's passion fruit IPA.
Right.
It's only 4.5%, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I think now this might be my go-to beer in Tiny Rebel. Electric Boogaloo. It's really, really nice.
I mean, what's happened to the world? What has happened to the world?
It's
passion
lovely.
fruit beer.
Oh, it's so good. There it is. Look at the colour on that. Oof.
Looks like orange squash.
It looks like banana piss. I mean, I can imagine like walking into my local pub and ordering a pint of that. I mean, I'd be kicked out.
So good.
Maybe you're drinking in the wrong places, Carwyn. Maybe you need to get with the kids, man.
I tell you what. Anyway.
Well, so you remember I said a couple of weeks ago that I was going through the drinks cabinet and like clearing out all the Christmas stuff. Yeah. So I'm not going to buy any more beer until I've cleared out all of the Christmas stuff, and I'm leaving the tequila for the last kind of weekend before I go on holiday to Mexico. So on Saturday for the Scarlets game, I dug out a bottle of black batch rum, which is brewed by the Eccentric Spirit Company in Cardigan. So my one of my nephews does like lots of promotion. He does lots of car videos. He's been all over the world driving bloody Lamborghinis and all this kind of stuff around the Italian mountains and all that kind of stuff. Really, really good stuff. But he also does a lot of stuff with drinks company. So every time he does something with drinks companies, he kind of half inches a couple. They'll give him a whole load of bottles, and he keeps them to one side, and that's Christmas presents. So yeah, so that's the one that I've got there. It's called Black Batch rum there, and it's quite nice. I do like a little bit of rum. So I have the choice of a bit of rum or a bit of vodka, and so yeah, rum it is this week. So cheers to that, gents. It's very nice.
Chin chin.
And if anybody else wants to throw alcohol our way for us to test on Drink of the Week, I think we're all up for that. We'd be
especially Tiny Rebel. If Tiny Rebel, if you want to get involved, like you get so much PR on this pod. Unbelievable amount of PR.
Don't send
ignore Carwyn. Ignore Carwyn. He hasn't got a clue. He's not with it. Just send it all to me. Well, sponsor the pod.
Yeah, I was on coke.
You've been on that for years, mate.
I was on soft drinks when we were in there because I was driving home. Despite Carwyn's protestations, I was driving home. So I haven't had the pleasure of trying any Tiny Rebel, so I'm up for a bit of an experiment. So, you know, it doesn't break my rules because I won't be buying it. But if they want to send me some, more than happy with that. Us not breaking any rules.
You should try the Kutch, though, because that is a Welsh red ale, and I do think you'll like that. That's not your fruity, funky shit. That's just nice red ale. Give that one a go, I'd say.
Next time I'm in Cardiff, I'll definitely have a crack. Yes.
Yeah.
I've told you we're going to go on. I'll come up. We'll go on the beer. I'll keep you happy.
I don't want you coming up now. I'm going to France.
I'll drink you under the table. I'll cart you home, and I'll go.
You probably will.
I'm very sorry, but there he is. I did my best. So good. So before we move on to rugby news and all that kind of stuff, that kebab, right? The kebab house was fine, but we were stood next to the bloody sound system for the whole of Chipan Alley, man, and we're trying to have a chat. This bloody sound system next to us, like you can hear it all the way down the alley, and that's the one place you decide to go. Oh, let's go in there for a kebab, Carwyn.
In fairness, I can't quite remember. But yeah, if you say so.
Dickhead.
I have no idea.
Right. So normally at this point, guys, we do rugby news, but because we kind of end of the season and all of that, and there's been a lot of news around, so we'll switch it around a bit this week, and we'll do the rugby first, and then we'll do some rugby news after, because that might take a fair bit longer. So, Scarlets and Glasgow. Does anybody else want to?
Well, can I start with saying, Joe, I didn't see any of it because I booked something without realising the rugby was on. But I did see what should have been awarded as a penalty try. Where
we haven't even properly talked about the game yet.
You go straight into the last 10 minutes.
For God's sake.
I'll get the bit out that I know, because I know it's like, for Scarlets fans, this is really controversial, obviously. Now, there's two ways. One with hindsight, Johnny McNichol could have dummied and run through the gap and scored himself, or went for the pass, but that was a blatant knock on, and there should have been a yellow card and a penalty try awarded. I don't think it would have made much difference to the outcome of the game. It might have made the last 10 minutes exciting. I don't know, but there we have it.
Well, we'll come to that. We'll come to that bit in a minute, because by the time we got there, I was quite frustrated with the way we were playing. And first half, we went in, end of the first half, we were 14-7 up. But when you look at the stats of the first half, the amount of possession we had, the amount of territory we had, we should have been much, much further ahead. Do you know what I mean? And fair play to Glasgow, their defence, particularly their scramble defence, was excellent. You know, where we were gaining meters in the forwards, it was 1 and 2 meters. You know, we weren't gaining massive amounts of distance, and it made it really, really hard work. And a lot of the breaks that we had kind of came from either turnovers or from Glasgow mistakes. So what I will say, this guy gets so much shit off other region supporters, but he's been outstanding for the Scarlets all season. Josh McLeod, 4 turnovers, and not 4 iffy turnovers, 4 clear turnovers, 2 of them in our own 22 that stopped Glasgow scoring tries. The guy is an animal around the breakdown, and without him, we're really, really struggling. I was expecting more from Dan Davis, because Dan Davis has had a fantastic season, but just didn't seem to get into the game. He just didn't get in there. Fafita at 8, just barely saw him all game. Do you know what I mean? Normally you see him breaking around rucks, you'll see him doing stuff. I think they kept Lousy really quiet, and that stopped us getting onto the front foot. We were just relying on Glasgow mistakes. You know, the first 5 minutes was an absolute fucking joke, to be honest. You know, letting them in for a try that early. But I got no complaints with the way Glasgow played. I think there were a lot of iffy decisions all through that game that just you look at and you're going to go, yeah, you know, there was, before we got to the yellow card, who was it? I think it was Johan Nicholas. Got literally clotheslined. The guy came over the top and swung the arm around. There was nowhere near a tackle. He swung the arm around and tried to decapitate him, and the ref goes, penalty. Not even a review. Not even looking at it and going, right, hang on. You know, we have 3 players off in the first 20 minutes with HIAs. So I think they kind of set the stall out there that that was going to be the game, you know. And to be fair to them, to if that had been given as a penalty try, and pretty much everyone I've spoken to says, yes, should have been a penalty try. Even Nigel Owen said, you know, he couldn't understand why it wasn't given as a penalty try. So, you know, that puts us 2 points behind against 14 men, 10 minutes to go. And, you know, we were on top. We had 3 kickable penalties up to that point, and we kept kicking them into the corner and cocking up the line out. So, you know, it is hindsight. We probably could have done better, but yeah, we didn't deserve to win that. We've been through the purple patch at the start of the year, and we haven't really looked, the last couple of weeks, we haven't really looked like we've been on it. You know, the Glasgow game away, the Dragons, and Glasgow at home, we just didn't look that same team that kind of run people ragged at the start of the year. So, yeah, I got no complaints, but I did think that was a yellow card as well. So
yeah, I think to be fair though, with the Scarlets, they were very unlucky because they had 3 HIAs in the first 20 minutes. I mean, that is just desperately unlucky, isn't it? I mean, it's almost unheard of, isn't it, to have that many in a short space of time. And then you say about Fafita, but you did lose him as well early in the game. So that's a huge blow. You're shuffling around the back row then. I do agree. I think Glasgow were the better team. And I think they were especially dominant in that second half. That penalty try, I mean, it should have been a penalty try. It should have been a yellow card and a penalty try, that decision. But what was interesting was I was listening to the Scrum 5 podcast this morning, and they had Nicky Robinson and Josh Navidi on there. And they said that they agreed with the decision because their argument was, and what Josh Navidi said was, in training, you see boys try to intercept with the one hand, like they touch it up with the one hand, then they try to catch it in the other. He said you see that all the time, and their argument was because it wasn't deliberately knocked down, it was knocked up. That's why it wasn't a penalty try and a yellow card. To be honest with you, I think it should have been a yellow card with a penalty try.
Right at the top of his, he knocked it up.
He was stretching so far.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
But there was such a crucial moment in the game because that was the 68th minute and the score 28-17. And, there are Scarlets fans out there. I've seen them on Twitter say, if that was scored, that'd have been it. We'd have gone to win. No, there's no guarantee Scarlets would have won that game. And I'm not convinced, actually. I think Glasgow would have seen it out because their bench made a big difference. They're a very powerful team. I mean, that Johnny Matthews, he will not stop bloody scoring, that bloke. They are so good at those driving lineouts, ball tries. They're very, very difficult to stop. And I just thought they were beaten in the scrums. The Scarlets lineouts, I'm afraid, didn't function, did it? Ken had some disappointing
but I think a lot of that comes from how good Glasgow are at disrupting the lineout. They completely took Fafita and Lousy out of the lineouts really early in the game. And every time, I think Lousy lost 3 lineouts. In a position where he would normally be, that's fine. That's his bread and butter stuff. And they disrupted that early in the game when we had to start doing stuff that we weren't comfortable with. So, people saying about Ken's throwing in wasn't great. I think Glasgow completely disrupted our line out from the off, knowing that they had the stronger line out and we couldn't cope with it. We just couldn't cope with doing different things because we're so used to Lousy and Fafita. Those are our go-to. But I tell you who I was impressed with was Morgan Jones before he went off. He was having a superb game. And we've been saying for a long time, we relied too much on Lousy and Fafita and who's coming through. He's starting to show why he's coming through. So fingers crossed. No,
I'm a Scarlets fan.
I've still got issues that I need to deal with personally. so I can be a Scarlets fan and I can still, I love the team and I love the club, but there are certain personal issues that need to be resolved first of all before I go back.
It was a good crowd, mind, at Park of Scarlets, in fairness. It wasn't quite the sellout, but they had a very good crowd.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip going round about there was a scuffle in the stands? It looked like someone was scrapping in the stands. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I heard people saying it at the time because it was like in the background when someone was lining up a kick or something.
I think it was a Glasgow supporter posted it online saying typical Scarlets fans.
Yeah, I've not heard any more or seen any more than that. But I know they put a lot more bars on. There was a lot more food. There was a lot more kind of a family atmosphere. Lots of the people that I've spoken to that did go have said, we should be doing this every week. Realistically, we should be getting that many people in there minimum every week now. But they said it was good atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. but little bits like that you do kind of.
It's the occasion, isn't it? It's a big game. It's jeopardy. It's the semi-final. It's unrealistic to. I don't knock the ambition of trying to get big crowds in, but I think it's unrealistic to expect that many every week, especially for the URC, because it's just apathy towards having Wales, as we know. But this was a really good occasion. I thought it was a good crowd. Best team won. I did say on earlier pods, I thought Scarlets could go deep in the competition, and to be fair to them, they did. It was a really good run, and the Challenge Cup rejuvenated Scarlets, because in that first part of the season, as we know, they were really, really struggling. And
that's what I'm looking forward to next season with the Ospreys.
Well, you lot got to win a knockout game first. That's how it works. You're like the Island, the club rugby. You can't win a bloody knockout game.
I think someone mentioned that on Twitter. And we started going on about how the Ospreys stole from all the other regions, and they included the Pontypridd and that. I'm like, give over.
I think what was interesting about our exchange on Twitter, Carl, was that people didn't get that me and you were mates.
No.
So I'm winding you up, you're winding me up, and then there's a whole load of Scarlet supporters and a whole load of Osprey supporters, and then for some reason a whole load of Dragon supporters start wading in with some really heavy stuff.
Nothing to do with me.
I think the Cardiff supporters were sitting there going like, boys, watch what these lot do.
I think someone put down and said, like, listen, love, haven't you heard of banter?
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. So anyways, it was a good run. It had to come to an end. It's a shame it came to an end there.
Well, we've got the World Cup to look forward to now. So,
yeah. Well, before we start looking that far ahead, let's have a look at the weekly news. We've got no games to preview for next week. So let's have a look at the weekly news. And it's been quite a busy week, really. Like we didn't have much of a chance last week to talk about everything that we needed to talk about because 15 players left Cardiff. We spoke about Dai Young a fair bit last week. Nothing else has happened with that this week. But
it's all very quiet, isn't it?
Yeah. So what did we make of the people leaving Cardiff?
There's some really big names, isn't there, leaving? A lot of experience. So just to quickly run down, I'll do this quick. Josh Navidi, Reece Priestland, James Ratty, Ray Lilo, Brad Fire, Willis Halaholo, Dimitri Arhip, Christian Dacey, Dylan Lewis, Jason Harris, Jared Evans, Joe Peart. That's an interesting one. Talk about him later.
Yeah.
Lloyd Williams, Max Llewellyn, Harry Millard, and Kirby Myhill. I mean, there's a lot of quality and experience leaving there.
I think that's nearly every position filled there, isn't it?
Well, virtually, yeah. Apart from props, they seem to have done.
Has it said where they're going, though? Where they're all going?
No,
well, we don't know obviously about Dylan Lewis and Jared Evans,
and Max Llewellyn. I think it releases a lot of people into the Premiership. What we've seen from the Scarlets list, there's a couple that have been gone on to other places, but we'll talk about that later. But a lot of them have gone to for the Scarlets, it's mainly Llandudbrey and Carmarthen Quins. I think three of the players that have left Scarlets have gone to Llandudbrey, and I think 4 of them are expected or have signed for Carmarthen Quins.
Halfpence?
No, I can't see him turning out for Carmarthen Quins, mate. I'll be honest.
No, I'm saying, do you know where he's going?
No, I don't know where he's going. No, I haven't heard anything. But yeah, I think certainly I would expect the same to be true of Cardiff. A lot of them will go, Ebervale. They'll turn out for Cardiff. There's a lot of money. There's more money around there to keep those players in the semi-pro kind of ranks. Lloyd Ashley, when he stepped down from Ospreys earlier this year, he's playing semi-pro for Cardiff now. So,
but then you look at players like Halaholo and Lino. I mean, they have been really good, excellent, reliable players, haven't they? They've been excellent overseas players. I know Halaholo is now Welsh qualified, but they've been brilliant players, awesome signings for Cardiff. They've lost that. They've lost them now, so that's a big hole in their midfield. And then you're losing guys like Lloyd Williams. Again, experience, leadership. He's been linked with a move to Ealing. don't know if that's going to come off, but there's just so much quality. When you looked at that list, you thought, my goodness. I mean, we knew about Josh Davidi, we knew about other players too, we knew about Jared Evans and whatnot. But I mean, yeah, there's just so much quality.
It's three quality centres, isn't it? It's, Hallow and and Max Llewellyn.
Yeah.
Lilo and Llewellyn. But that's. I mean, who's going to replace them in the centre? Is Patchell going up there to play 12? Who knows?
I think the issue with sides now is if you're going to sign somebody, like you've got Halo, who's been out injured for most of the season. Are you going to now sign somebody who is getting on a little bit and is spending a lot of time injured? Do you know what I mean? Same with Patchell and Halfpenny. Halfpenny spent over half the season out injured. You can count the games.
At the end of the day, it's a business, isn't it? And if players are injured for the most part of the season, and you think, well, is that going to happen again? And they're coming towards the end, the gaining in years. Are you going to sign them, or are you going to save that money for an up and coming youngster who could be there for a long time to come? It's. I mean, I've got an issue. I don't know if you boys spoke about last week. With Gareth Hanscom, he was out for nearly a whole season. His wages being paid, and he hasn't shown that commitment to say, okay, I'll give you another season. Thanks for looking after me. And it is about the money.
Sport. It's pro sport. You got to do what you feel is right for you.
I get that, and I get you got to do what's right for your family. But sometimes, as a fan, you want them to stay. But I get that as a family man, as a personal. You want to do what's right for your family. You've got to do that thing. So I get it on both sides of the coin. But again, as a fan, it's disappointed. As a family man, good luck to him. It is tough.
Going back to this list, Cardiff, the one thing that did strike out for me was Joe Peard. So Joe Peard came through the Drags Academy, and this guy is massive. He's like 6'8", 20 stone. Big things were expected of him. And he didn't make a senior appearance for Dragons. He got let go. And what I got told was, although he's really big, he didn't have the other attributes in his game to push on at the top level. They didn't feel he was fulfilling his potential. That's why he was let go. So then Cardiff pick him up. And then Wales Online, of course, write this piece, giant lopside, he's being compared to Jake Ball and all this. And, Dyer was saying how excited he was to have this guy on board to fulfill his potential. And he's been at Cardiff one season, didn't make a senior appearance, and he's been let go. So make of that what you will. I'm interested to see where he goes from here now, because it sounds like he's not really fulfilling his potential. There's a lot said about him. Do you know what I mean? And fans are very sort of, positive and glowing about him. But for what I'm hearing, it's not really clicking for him. Two clubs he's been to. So is he going to go into the Welsh Premiership now? Because he was playing some games with Carwyn RFC. Or is he going to be picked up by either maybe the other region, Scarlets and Ospreys? Is someone going to take a chance on him? Because I know he's got size. They're clearly... He needs to work on his other parts of his game. But I'm just wondering about him, because I thought that struck out to me, because he was under contract as well, apparently.
Oh, really? They released, so he wasn't at the end of his contract. He was in the middle, and so that throws a whole new kind of ball game out there, doesn't it? Being released in the middle of your contract is quite unusual nowadays.
I don't know what the length of his contract, but that's what I was told, is because he'd only been here a year. And people winning, like Cardiff fans, were surprised to see him on the list of leavers.
Yeah, I read that as well. Was it you saying that in the text you sent us? I can't remember, but yeah. I mean, they say he's a young lad as well, isn't he? And
yeah, he's very young.
So is he taking his chance? In Cardiff, clearly not. Maybe he's fallen out of favour already.
But then it might be an environment thing, or it might be a type of game thing. Sometimes you just need a change of environment, or somebody around you, him working alongside, Alan Wynne-Jones, for example, might bring something out of him, or he might be a completely different player that just likes to play like a different game. You don't know, but like you say, until somebody gives him that chance, we're not going to find out. And he's had two, and that's more than most people get. at the senior. So there must be something about him. There must be
Yeah.
something there that says he's a half decent player.
Oh, he's huge. He's got. What I was told is he's got the size, but there's other attributes in this game that he's lacking for the top level. That's what I was told.
Well, let's not forget, that Tad Byrne got released by
Leinster.
But no, he got released Leinster. But before Leinster, apparently he got released by another academy before that. Then he got released by Leinster. Then he comes over to the Scarlets. Scarlets weren't all that sure on taking him. It was a last minute thing, and it was a bit of okay, we'll take a punt. He spent half of his first season at Llandovery in the Welsh Premiership, and he came in really. I think it was like a European game or something like that off the bench where nobody was really expecting anything, and we don't want to injure people. Let's chuck a couple of boys in, and now look at him. You're British Lion, one of the best second rows on the planet. Every fantasy
hard
team,
work and determination.
But it's also just sometimes it clicks, so you can't write people off like that. You got to. It does. But then again, for some people, given too many chances, isn't there?
Maybe just needs a different environment, But I'm keen to see if he can progress and where he'll end up next. But with this Cardiff departures, though, their squad is looking really thin, isn't it, for next season? Like they're looking really vulnerable in the centre. They're looking really vulnerable at hooker. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see them loaning players if they start approaching the other region, just to make up some numbers.
So there's been no announcements at all on any signings really of any significance, is there?
Well, they can't, can they?
They haven't got any money.
Yeah,
they haven't got any money. So what will they get? They can't fill those gaps with all these players, because they can't go out and sign like 5-10 players. They haven't got the money. Yeah. So I think we're going to see them approach Dragons, Scarlets, just for some loan signings, just to make up the numbers. I think.
Or they'll take people like like Taylor Davis has gone to Llandovery, and the other hooker, what was his name? Hughes. He's been playing really well this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to, I don't know, let's say Ebervale or somewhere like that. And when Cardiff are short, he'd be a straight step in because he's superb. So it's going to be an interesting. I think if you're running the Premiership now, if you're running the Welsh Premiership, you're looking at that and you're going, do you know what? We're in for a really, really good season next year, because there's some real quality players that are stepping down from that fully professional to semi-professional that are going to actually make the Welsh Premiership more than better. It's going to take a real step up next year. I know there's all sorts of stuff around who goes up, who goes down, Llanelli leaving, then this Super 8s or whatever coming in and all that kind of stuff. But I think next season for the Premiership is going to be really, really interesting with all these players floating around.
I tell you what, though, if I was a Cardiff fan, I'd be pretty worried about next season, because you've got these gaping holes in the squad. We don't know what's happening with Dai Young. He looks like he could be heading for the exit. It's hard to see a way back for him, especially with these allegations, of his substance in it. Richard Dodgers is leaving. They've got to compete in the Heineken Champions Cup as well, mind. And they've lost so much quality and experience. If I was a Cardiff fan, I'd be very worried about next season. I think it's going to be a very difficult season for them.
Well, you watch to be a merger somewhere before the start of next season.
Did you boys see the rumor, and it was just a couple of tweets about Pivac and Jones going into Cardiff?
I did.
Well, what do you make of that?
See that?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Well, Jones lives up in Cardiff. I don't know where Pivac is, but Stephen Jones is children go to the school down the road from me. And I see the boy about. He's living up in Cardiff. I don't know where Pivac is, but why not? That'd be great for him. Because I think they're a good coaching duo. They did great with the Scarlets.
I'd be trying to get Geffen Jenkinson if I was Cardiff, because obviously he's got that connection to the club.
Yeah,
Geffen's, he's free, isn't he? I'd try and get him in. I don't know if I can get Stephen Jones in. But do you know who I think, if Dai Young does go, do you know who I think would be a really good replacement for him? Is Rob Howley. I think Rob Howley would be really good coming back to Cardiff. No, I do. Listen, I know we've spoken about him and people are divided on Rob Howley, but his CV speaks for himself. I think he'd be a very good appointment for Cardiff.
But he was never a head coach. Boy. Yeah, but he was he never made it to head coach at Cardiff, did he?
It doesn't matter. I think I agree with you, Jamie. Regardless of everything that's happened in the past, and the past is in the past. Great player, great coach.
Brilliant CV, Grand Slams, Championships, Six Nations, British Lions. You can't argue. If I was a Cardiff fan, honestly, I'd be quite happy if Rob Howley came back and coached them. That is divisive. I know some Cardiff fans are like, oh, no, don't want Rob Howley, but who else are you going to get? You can't go out there and sign a world-class coach, can you now? So,
no. You either need to take a chance on somebody that's young and up and coming and is willing to do it without the money. Do you know what I mean? Or, like you say, somebody like Howley or Mellon that kind of as kind of needs a foot back in and is willing to take that chance without the money, without foot back in.
Well, that's it. Someone on the cheap, because at the moment Cardiff couldn't sign an autograph. That's so little.
I like that one. Didn't sign an autograph.
But I think the one player they're going to miss, but injuries again, is Navidi. We
didn't talk about that did we last week, and it just slipped our minds. There's so much other stories going on. So Josh Navidi retired, 184 appearances for Cardiff. 33 Wales caps. Now, I felt he should have had more than that. For some reason, I thought he had more, but
he came to the party later than he should have.
Yeah, because he was out of favour for a while because there was doubts about whether he could step up from club rugby into international. Boy, did he do that!
Has he really been missed by Cardiff? Has he really been missed by Cardiff? They've got a rich, abundance of back rowers. He is a good player. He's a very good player. I'd have him in like the Ospreys team any day, and obviously the Wales team. But they have an abundance of back row players who could all step up to it. So has he really been missed? I don't know.
But he is a quality player, and I do think he's definitely been missed by Wales, because when we had Simon Thomas on the pod not so long ago, we both said that the one player Wales have missed in the Six Nations was Josh Navidi for his breakdown work, his ball carrying, his physicality, and we really have missed him. I think Wales are so much better with Navidi in that back row, and it's a big loss. It's a big loss for Welsh rugby, Navidi going. It really is.
Wish him all the best. He's gone through injury, so wish him all the best.
He is an abrasive pain in the arse, isn't he? When you're playing against him, you can't go 1-on-1 with him in a ruck. If you're 1-on-1, you've lost. You need two players, one on each arm, one on each side, and that's why he's a key player. He's not the most. I don't know if he ever scored massive amounts of tries. Do you know what I mean? But
no, he was about the dog work, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's that player. Yeah, he's the kind of player that creates space for other players just by being a pain in the arse around a ruck. You could put him in a ruck and up against three players, and you would tie those three players up, and that's where his value was. But like you say, I think the reason he didn't have so many caps was the likes of Tipperick and Lydiot. On the wing, because he can play 6 and he can play across the back, and he plays 6, 7, and 8. So
he can,
it's a bit like Thomas Young now. 99% of people that watch Thomas Young play are going, the guy's class, he should be in a Welsh setup. But the guy that makes a decision is going, he's not for me. And I think that kind of counted against Navidi, and the kind of player that he is. He's so abrasive. You pick up injuries. You are going to pick up injuries, and the two combined together to kind of limit quality, not quantity. Let's put it that way. He was more about the quality, not the quantity. But then you look at, we used to play with Sam Warburton. Warburton retired when he was 30, was it? Do you know what I mean? So those two together are really very similar players, abrasive. Pain in the arse.
He took a battering. He did put his body on the line for Wales, and I was a huge fan of the video, and I think he'd be sorely missed. But another player who has retired as well is Christian Dacey. 202 appearances for Cardiff and 8 caps for Wales, so he's had a pretty good career, I'd say. Christian Dacey. I wasn't his biggest fan, I'll be honest with you, but I appreciate that from a Cardiff point of view. He was a solid club player, and
he absolutely was.
Down there. So best of luck to him in his future endeavours as well.
See, I think he was another player that when he had his purple patch, he had like 3 or 4 seasons where he was all singing, all dancing. When he had his 8 caps, there were so many other hookers at the time that were kind of keeping him down. He kind of suffered with the quality in that position, and it's a shame. When he was playing well, when he was in his prime, if you like, a couple of seasons ago, well, 3 or 4 seasons ago, he was, I felt, absolutely outstanding, and I always hoped he would go on to change the way hookers kind of play, because he didn't.
He's going back to play for Merthyr, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, he's going back to his roots. Fair play to him.
Well, talking of roots, I think he's had a haircut. I think he's had a haircut. He's gone, I'm leaving the pro ranks now. It's time to get rid of the locks.
I thought he was on about Ethan Roots leaving the Ospreys.
No. That's
We've
another.
Done that.
Yeah.
We've done that one. Yeah.
Yeah. But as I talking of hookers, now I know we're going to be talking about us now as the Welsh squad. Jamie, what do you think about Bradley Roberts not being in the squad and Elliot D being in there?
Do you know what? I'm not surprised, because I think Bradley's been brilliant for the Dragons, right? But if you cast your mind back to the Six Nations, it was Elias that got injured, wasn't it? And they called up Scott Baldwin. And Scott Baldwin got parachuted in, didn't he? Onto the bench. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. It should be Bradley next in line. So I think the warning signs were there. I don't know if Gatland fully trusts him at national level. I don't know if it's a size thing or not. I think he's a good player, but
I think he's quite explosive, isn't he?
He is, yeah. But I just wonder maybe at international level. I thought he was good off the bench against France, by the way, and he scored a try. I thought he was good, but I just wonder if Gatland's thinking about the size. To be fair to Elliot D, he's done really well for the Dragons since he's come back off injury. And he's rediscovered his mojo. And let's not forget, Gatland is a big fan of Elliot D. He was Ken Owens' number 2 for a very long time in the Gatland team. So, I am disappointed for Bradley, but I am glad for Elliot as well. I'm glad he's back in the Wales mix. So, mixed feelings on that one, I think, for me.
Well, I can't understand. We'll come on to talk about the Wales squad now. I can't understand why Elias is in there. I genuinely can't. He's
injured as well. He's actually carried an injury.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes, Carwyn's jumped way ahead because
you keep doing this.
Yes, because everyone's talking about.
Calm yourself down, Carwyn.
So
talking about Cardiff.
The one player that I want to talk about retiring as well from Scarlets is Shingler. Yes. So we were all kind of hoping that he'd play for the weekend, and that would be his kind of swan song sort of thing. And for all of the fuss around Neil Patchell and Halfpenny and this, that, and the other, I think Shingler's the one that we were going to miss the most. Because did you know he signed for Glamorgan when he was 18? He was
Glamorgan.
Yeah. And his
brother.
Well, his brother signed for London Irish then, didn't he? And then he came back, and I think is he coaching in the Premiership now?
Oh, I don't know.
He's at Ealing. Steve Shingler's at Ealing.
He's gone to Ealing.
Yeah, he's been there for a while.
Oh, I had him down as coaching in our Premier. Okay. So,
no.
Yeah, I think we spoke earlier about line-out presence and this, that, and the other, and Shingler is 6'6", I think he is, and decent in the line-out, decent in the ruck. He could handle the ball. He was in a Welsh kind of equivalent of a Fijian or Tongan with a handling and this, that, and the other. He felt very comfortable with it. So, yeah, from a Scarlets point of view, I think, he's in although he plays back row, same as Navidi, Shingler can play 6, 7, 8. You couldn't get two players more different than those two players. But I think Cardiff are going to miss Navidi as much as Scarlets are going to miss Shingler, because he's been a massive influence on the way Scarlets have played the game as well down there.
He's a proper club man, isn't he?
Yeah. And I genuinely didn't see that. I could see Halfpenny. I could see Patch come in. obviously I didn't want Dane Blacker going. That was the one that I was like, he was the one that we should have kept. But I'm just trying to, Dav Hughes. That was the hooker that I was talking about. Dav Hughes has been superb for the Scarlets this season. I would not be surprised to see him turning up in a Cardiff jumper next year. So we'll just remember that name. And then obviously the one that's in the news today, Corey Baldwin. So
yes,
he's all yours, Jane.
Yeah, good to see the Dragons making some signings there.
Yes. So, I mean, this was the benefit of Ross Moriarty leaving, because it's freed up funds in the budget, see. So this was the one advantage. So it gives us an opportunity to bring players, and obviously Sam Davis moving on as well. I was told last week by my source that we were talking to a couple of Scarlets boys, but he didn't tell me who we were talking to. And I had a feeling, I don't know why, Corey Baldwin just seemed a very Dragonsy signing. It seemed like the kind of play we go for. And Di Flanagan did talk about strengthening the back three, because he's talked about the workload on Ashton Hewitt and Rio Dyer. So, I mean, you know him better than me. I don't know if he's got the pace to play on the wing, but I just feel like with Corey Baldwin, he's one of these players who's, very highly rated. We all know how talented he is, but he's never quite fulfilled his potential for me.
Yeah.
At the start, he went to the Exeter, didn't he? And he was part of the squad that won the European Cup and everything. So he's achieved success there, but he only ever made 4 appearances for Exeter. And now he's come back to the Scarlets. That hasn't worked for whatever reason. Like, you know more than me. I don't know why it hasn't worked. Maybe it's injuries, loss of form. Peel just doesn't fancy him anymore. So it seems inevitable then. Of course, he has to come to Dragons, where Di Flan knows him well, doesn't he? He's worked with him through the age grades. He worked with him at the Scarlets. And it seems like the kind of signing that we would make. But I mean, I'm glad it's a 1-year deal. I think that's important, because I think it's quite smart, actually, because if it doesn't work out, fine, it's only a year, off you go. If it does work out, fine, we'll extend your deal. We're not committing to 2-3 years. I think it's the right thing to do, and it gives the player an incentive then, doesn't it, to want to, get a new contract. So I'm okay with it. I think it's a decent signing for us. He's versatile, but like I said, it's just the fact that he hasn't as of yet fulfilled his potential, and I don't know if he's going to do that with us. But let's just see how he gets on.
When he came, the first time he left the Scarlets and when he went to Exeter, I think more people were annoyed and angry then, because he'd come through the age grades and he'd shown a lot of. He's a quick boy. He's not big. He's not physical. He's a similar to Steph Evans. He just turns up in random places and makes big people look stupid, and he's quick enough to make that break. And Baldwin is quick. He's still only 24. It feels like he's been around for a long time. It feels like he's been around
for years, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. So,
but
so he's not yet hit his potential, potentially.
Well, he came back to us, and we were all kind of go, well, if he's coming back, then he's going to walk into the firsts, and but then he's got people like Jonathan Davis or Foxy Davis in front of him. Scott Williams. Scott Williams was on a 1-year deal, we were told last year, and we haven't heard whether he's signed again or whether he's not signed again. We don't know what's going on there. But, those two in front of him. Then you've got the likes of Joe Roberts coming through and really showing some potential. You've got the likes of Johnny Williams playing 12 and 13. So that centre partnership is kind of crowded. And then you look at the back three, and you've got people like McNichol, Halfpenny, Steph Evans, Combier and stuff like that. There's a lot of people. There's no obvious place for him to just slot in. He's got to knock somebody out of that side, and he just never did. He just never established. He got given a couple of runs out, but never really did anything where you went, if we can. Like Combier's first couple of games, he had a couple of, I think he had 2 tries in his first game and 3 tries in his second, just for, one of them was a lucky 5-yard kind of fall over the line. But when you read the paper, 2 tries in your first game, 3 tries in your second game. And let me see, Baldwin had 8 tries in 37 appearances, which if you're a back, you need to. If you're one of the back three, you need to be kind of a bit more in it. So yeah, same as we were saying earlier. But sometimes you just need a different style of play, and I think because Flanagan knows him and knows how to get the best out of him, I think you'll see Dragons attacking from deep a lot more and creating space for somebody like him to sneak through a gap. That if you're defending in your own 22, that tends to be quite a tight line. Whereas if you're defending on the opposition 10-yard line, there's more space. So I think you'll see Flanagan's influence of moving that ball earlier in your own half and creating space for people like Baldwin and Steph Hughes from deep. So,
well, what I would say is, with the obvious exception of Rob Evans, because that was a disaster, boys from the Scarlets who have come over to the Dragons have genuinely been pretty good, haven't they? You know? You think of places like Adam Warren and Angus O'Brien, and I know Rodri came from Bristol, but generally the Scarlets boys who have come over to us from West have done okay. So, yeah, I like I said, I'm okay with it. I think it's worth a punt, especially for a year. Let's just see how it goes. I just want him to fulfill his potential now, you know, and let's see if Dave Flanagan can do that.
Yeah, good luck to him.
Well, I think so. So the one player we'll talk about Joe Hawkins in a minute, but players aside, coaches. So we've spoken a little bit about Cardiff coaches and potential for people coming in. So this week, Scarlets announced Lee Blackett and Ben Franks. Now, I must have been bloody, I don't know, I missed the whole Ben Franks conversation. That must have been going on around me because everyone I've said, who heard about Ben Franks? And everyone else was going, yeah. And I go, well, where the fuck did I miss that? So Ben Franks has gone home. Lee Blackett is now with Bath. So we've got, allegedly, according to press rumour, we've got Jared Payne coming in to replace Blackett in the backs. And
not a bad signing.
Yeah, well, and he's worked with Dwayne Peel before at Ulster. And he's been itching for an attack coach position for a long time. So he's obviously got a point to prove. So, fair play. Let's give him a shot.
He's been coaching defence, though, up in Claremont, which is interesting. So be making that transition from defence to attack coach.
But apparently when... so he was defence coach at Ulster, and when Dwayne Peel came back to Wales, originally Cardiff, obviously, he wanted the attack coach at Ulster, and when they said no, he went, right, okay, well, I'm off. And that's how he ended up in France. But he ended up there as a defence coach. But then, I've said this for a long time, the best people to know how to break down a defence are defence coaches. You know where the weaknesses are. And so as an attack coach, he should know how defences operate. Do you know what I mean? So, good luck to him. And I've forgotten his name. Van der
Berg.
That's the one.
Albert Van der Berg, coming over from the Lions. So he was the Lions head coach. There's something going on at the Lions. I don't know enough about South African rugby, but there's been some turmoil there, and he's just gone, I've had enough. And he's like, well, I don't want to say it's a bit of a demotion, but to come from head coach at South Africa Van to the forwards coach at the Scarlets, it is an interesting career change, isn't it? But he's very highly rated in South Africa as a forwards coach, and if you can add a bit of steel, South African steel to that pack, and that could be a very, very shrewd signing, couldn't it?
Yeah, and I think we're gonna need it next year. I genuinely,
we're all going to need something next year.
Yeah, we're all going to need a little bit of South African seasoning up front next season. But it's interesting that Scarlet's the one that made the moves quite early. I think the Cardiff moves were Hodges, isn't it? Is leaving Cardiff. He announced that quite a while ago. Nobody's been announced as coming in and filling that position. Whereas with Scarlets, it's, I say Ben Franks wasn't announced officially, but there's rumours of somebody coming in. Lee Blackett was rumoured and then announced within a couple of days, and we're expecting Jared Payne to be announced before the weekend, So interesting, different approaches from different clubs.
Yeah, another bit of Scarlets news as well is Tommy Lewis, winger with Jersey Reds. He's returning to the Scarlets as well. Jersey Reds are now English Championship champions after they beat Amtel 43-15, which is quite funny considering the money that Ealing have spent on their team. They spent all that money and they still didn't win the championship. I find that quite amusing. But what do you think of that, then, Lee? Tommy Lewis coming back as...
he's one of those players that kind of came through the ranks again. And Scarlets, we've just got too much of a reputation at the minute for releasing players too early, good quality players. Josh Adams was a Scarlets player, got released from academy, and that there are quite a few others that have been released from Scarlets as they've been coming through. And I don't know why, I don't know where, but there's something misfiring at that stage where they go from academy to senior. Something is wrong at that stage there, where we're releasing really, really good players who we then buy back 3 or 4 seasons later after they've shown what they can do somewhere else, and we go, oh, well, he's one of ours, we'll have him back. People like Corey Baldwin, people like Tommy Lewis, and
they use the Wales thing as a lure to get them back, the caps thing and everything else. Yeah.
And I know that they're talking to quite a lot of players in the Wales under-20 setup who are based in England, but a lot of those players are going, actually, no, that draw for a Welsh cap doesn't appeal at the minute. I'll stay in the English Premiership. Thank you very much. I'll stay there. I don't want to come home. I'll get my Welsh cap, then I'll come home. And, I know the Scarlets' Achilles heel, if you like, at the minute is second row, homegrown second rows. And, I know that there've been a couple of players that have been asked to come into the academy that have gone, no, I'm staying, fella. I'm not coming home. So, it is one of those things. I'm glad Tommy Lewis is back.
Yeah.
But going to bloody Jersey, I don't think Jersey. I know they've won the championship. Are they going up to the Premiership in England?
I'm not sure about that. I don't think so. They got to meet criteria, haven't they? So I'm not sure about that. I would say no, but I'm not.
Well, who knows? The way London Irish are going at the moment, they're not paying wages. They could be another team to go.
I think it might be ring fenced for another season, isn't it? The Premiership. I might be wrong on that. I'm sure it's ring fenced for another season, but I haven't paid enough attention to the English Premiership.
Maybe what we need to do is a bonus pod just slagging off the English Premiership, just to see how many people we can wind up across the border. We'll just spend an hour slagging everyone off. Have you seen the
London Irish news?
I was just saying about the wages. Yeah.
I tell you what, that is sounding horribly familiar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we've had Wasps, we've had Worcester, and it could be another club. It's something's not right there, is it?
Well, maybe we'll do an English one next. That'll really wind up. What's his name? Just Bollocks. That will really wind him up, won't it? Yeah. Anyway, let's anyone coming and going from Ospreys, Carwyn? Ospreys have been really quiet, other than Joe
really
Hawkins.
Quiet. There's been the re-signings of Dowie Lake, Owen Williams, Kieran Williams and Morgan Morris. There's been some good re-signings. I'm glad they're staying because these young lads are going to be the core of that squad. But there's been no mention. It's been so quiet. So I don't know when that's any massive press releases coming out of, are we going to sign any stars? Are we going to have more re-signings? Is there one or two players who are going to come in to try and strengthen key places? I don't know. We'll wait
They
and
haven't
see.
they haven't done the leavers list yet, have they?
No,
No,
that's
not
what
even-
I
no.
thought.
But why is it taking so long then?
I
Maybe-
don't know. Well, keeping the cards close to the chest at the moment,
Maybe they haven't paid their Wi-Fi bill, and the press
the
team.
amount of
The
videos
press team
they're
is-
putting out.
The press team is sitting
Oh,
there
they
going
could.
like, it says the outbox. It's in my outbox. Why is it not sending?
I will give credit where it's due. The Ospreys media team, the social media team, because I believe that they've changed the communication social media team. The videos they're putting out, they're brilliant.
They're doing a great job, aren't they?
I think they're great. I really enjoy them. Like, I'm not even an Ospreys fan, but I really enjoy What I want to know is, how do they get the rights to use clips from films? Because somebody said that to me the other day, they're going to get sued by Pixar. And I thought, well, how do they get the rights then to use film clips like that?
Well, Dragons did it today for Corey Baldwin.
And they did it for Dane Black, and they used a Ryan Reynolds film called Free Guy to announce Dane Black. Like, you know what I mean? They're all doing it now, but I just want to know, how does it work with rights?
There's got to be some small
it's got
clauses,
to be
isn't there?
something somewhere where you subscribe to like an annual payment, and you can use X amount of clips, something like that, innit?
Yeah. But hopefully there'll be some news soon coming out of the camp there, and hopefully it'll be good news. And we'll wait and see. We have got 17 boys going away for a few months at the end of the summer, and hopefully they'll come back injury free as well. But we'll wait and see.
You've got Anscombe in there, mate. And the chance
of he's not
Anscombe
coming back anyway, is he?
Yeah, I was going to say the chance of him being injury free at any point is remote. Well, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about the Wales squad. I mean, when you boys posted it out, I was busy buying a sofa, but you posted it out, and I had a quick look at it. And my next 10 messages, when you go like, oh, so-and-so's not in it, and so-and-so's not, well, why so-and-so? And then you put it down, and then, oh, hang on, no, so-and-so's not there, so-and-so, and then they're not there. And there's a whole list of players that we say how bad a state Welsh rugby is in at the minute. There's another 10, 15 players that should have made that squad. So, but
it's a big squad already, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to bring in some new faces, freshen things up, who knows? Because there's some good players. I say Kemsley Mathias in there. Good prop, good scrummaging prop, good attacking prop. Kai Evans was a big shock for me. He has played well in some of the games. I know he's been injured, but God, I mean, fair play, good luck to him. But he was a shock. No, I don't think anyone saw that come in.
But if you're Johnny McNichol, right? You're Johnny McNichol, you're in the top 2 or 3 in the URC of offloads, meters made, and defenders beaten. Gatland's talking about having an attacking back 3, and then you're not in the squad.
Yeah. Well,
and then you've got a guy that's played
Evans,
6. Yeah, but he's played 6 times.
10. But he can cover 10. Yeah, he can cover 10. He can cover fullback. He can cover wing. And he's got a hell of a boot on him as well. So
he's only played 7 or 9 games for the Ospreys.
I know,
just a fire caller. And he's played well in the Champions Cup, don't get me wrong. And with McNichol, I do like McNichol, but I've always said I don't like his defence at test level. It's dodgy. But surely McNichol really should have been in there ahead of Kai Evans, shouldn't he?
Wow.
You think?
I would have put him in there. Just because, like I say, you've got a tried and tested international fullback that can attack. And where Kai Evans is an experiment, with the best will in the world, 6 games. Carwyn, you can look good in 6 games, mate. I played 10 seasons with you. You put 6 games together.
I need 1 game to look good, and that's all it takes. But these guys have gone into the squad. Maybe it's just a learning curve for some of these guys. Are they realistically going to make the World Cup? Maybe 1 or 2 will be those bolters. But I think it's looking forward for the next World Cup as well. We're looking at that cycle now, aren't we?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, this is a training squad. I think, a lot of people have lost their shit over this. And there has been some big admissions, man. I think Thomas Young is very, very unlucky. Did you see he won the Turnover King Award today from the URC? 17 turnovers, You can't argue with that,
he was level as well with most tackles made. The only reason he didn't get the tackles made as well was on percentage. So he made the same number of tackles, and he was like 2% below the guy that actually won it. So I can't understand why he's not there.
Yeah, and you got like James Botham as well. He's very unlucky. Big fan of James Botham. Morgan Morris. Now, what has Morgan Morris got to do to get into that Wales squad? No, but I'm genuinely interested now, and I wish Gatland would actually come out and explain. But nobody's asking.
This is
if
why.
I'm a journalist now, I would be saying, Morgan Morris, really, really good form, best formate in Wales at the moment. What's the thing behind Osler? I'm genuinely interested to know, because he cannot do any more. He's had a superb season for the Ospreys. He's excellent, one of Ospreys' best players at Judgment Day. He's been the
formate in Wales.
But what is it about him that he can't get a sniff for Wales? And I'm genuinely curious now, because number 8 is not a position that Wales are blessed in. And we can't keep relying on Tulupe Fatal forever.
Well, maybe he's not a line-up forward, perhaps,
But that's something you learn. You look at, is he a line-out forward? Look at who he's got around him. He doesn't need to be a line-out forward.
Well, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So, I played 6 seasons at senior level. I was only a line-out jumper in one of those seasons.
Yeah, that's because you can't fucking catch.
Fuck off! I was superb in the line-out, but I was in the line. I became a line-out jumper because our 2 main line-out jumpers were out injured. Do you know what I mean? So you don't know if he's a line-out jumper until he gets thrown in there. I cannot understand why he is, given the amount of second rows that we are taking, or that we're going to train with. I cannot understand why he isn't there. Corey, for him to not be there, and someone like Corey Hill to be there, we don't need, is it 6 second rows, 7 second rows, something like that, And I'd have dropped the second row, and I'd have had him.
Is Ben Carter on there as well?
Yep, Ben Carter's
in. Yeah. To be honest, though, with Corey Hill, that's leaving a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going to go into detail about it. If people don't know what I mean, they could just Google Corey Hill drunk home attack. Left Wales under a cloud. Despicable act. I know he apologised for it, but that's leaving a real sour taste in my mouth. And he's been linked with a move back home to Wales.
Yeah,
I don't want him anywhere near Ronnie Parade. He's been linked with the Scarlets.
He can fuck off.
He has.
Yeah, I know he has.
I don't want him back.
I'd rather have Carwyn. I'd rather put Carwyn in at second row than him.
And do a better job as well.
You would. You would, mate. And you're more handsome.
When you're weighing in at 11 and a half stone, mate, they can throw as high as they like.
No, but in fairness, he's a good player, don't get me wrong. I understand it for rugby reasons, but morally, it just doesn't sit right with me. I'm sorry. I'm not happy with that at all.
Yeah. And the other player that I don't understand, okay, so we spoke, Gatland spoke about having agile, dynamic, attacking forwards, and then he puts Dan Lidgett in there. Now, with the best will in the world, Dan Lidgett,
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Him and Alan Wynne-Jones, you cannot say they're in that side because they're attacking, agile forwards.
No, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So I think he's kind of shot himself in the foot there. And
although I am pleased to see Nicky Smith there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Someone's talked some sense into Gatland.
And to be honest, as well, Kieran Azrati has absolutely earned his place there. Domachowski's earned it. Kemsley Mathias has earned it.
Will King Davis, where'd he come from?
Yeah. I don't know anything about him. I'll be honest. I don't know anything about him.
No. I Reese spoke about him. Yeah, Reese spoke about him quite a few times on you, and he likes the guy. But he hasn't played that often. He had 2 full games or 2 40-minute games. I don't know.
Yeah, he's down the pecking order, Cardiff. But for me, I would have liked to have seen Tom Barfer from the Ospreys in there.
Yeah.
Because he's experienced, he's a good scrummager. Now, for me, that's someone who I would bring in ahead of Will Davis-King. You know, I don't think he needs to be in the Wales squad at this particular time.
Ahead of Henry Thomas?
Well, I was just about to talk about him. So the one name, I mean, someone asked me on Twitter about like who do you think the bolters are, and I said, possibly Aserati, Domachevsky. I was thinking of Ryan Convia. I did not have Henry Thomas now, the former England prop. I mean, that was a complete bolt out of the blue. 7 England caps, the last of them he had in 2014. Playing this rugby in Montpellier, good scrummager by all accounts. I don't know a great deal about him. I remember him when he was playing for Bath. He was pretty decent, to be fair. He has suffered a few injuries in his career, but he's doing pretty well. He was a regular for Montpellier in the top 14, when you're coming up against some big guys there, so he must be able to be pretty decent in the scrum. What did you think of that? Because this has caused a huge shitstorm, isn't it, with people, because people are saying, oh, why is it that Joe Hawkins, Swansea-born, Wales caps Hungarian?
I think
the problem is, people are forgetting, these are two completely different situations.
The rules have changed.
That's the first thing to
doing
say.
It now, and why should we not be selecting players who are eligible? If that's the rules, good luck, because we don't have a massive talent pool. We're not England, we're not France, we're not South Africa. We've got to take what we've got. And if it aids us, in the World Cup or moving forward, bloody brilliant.
I mean, Gatland said that before he was capped for England, Gatland had spoken to him because he was identified through the Welsh Exiles programme. So when he was, when the new rule came in and what have you, Gatland is one of those players that likes what he's got in his basket, and he'll go with what's in his basket until he can't fit it in the basket. So from that kind of perspective, I can see why he's gone from is somebody that he's liked and he's watched and he's rated him for a long time. But you also got to go, realistically, Scarlets, we were going, okay, Wyn Jones, what's Wyn Jones done wrong? I don't think Wyn Jones has done anything wrong, but I don't think he's done anything right. He's not set the world alight, whereas Kemsley Matthias kind of has. Like I said earlier, Ryan Elias, I genuinely don't know why Ryan Elias is in there ahead of Bradley Roberts. And that's as a Scarlet supporter, I don't know why he's in there. So, it does kind of...
I just want to explain, sorry.
Go on.
I just want to explain to listeners about why Henry Thomas is in the squad. So to switch to a different nation, providing they have a birthright or a relative born in that country, and they've stood down from Test rugby for a period of 36 months. So
and when you say relative, let's clarify, it has to be either parent or grandparent.
Yeah, birthright or relative, that's right. They've had to have stood down from Test rugby for 36 months. So Thomas has ticked both of those boxes. Now, should he be capped by Gatland in these World Cup warm-ups, he will not be able to switch back to England. So he has to stay with Wales. And I just important to point that out to the listeners and just a bit of context behind it. And this is a World Rugby ruling. Yeah. This is nothing to do with the WRU. This is not a PRB issue like it is with Joe Hawkins. So all I've seen on Twitter is people trying to compare the two. Yeah, I've seen that point regurgitated to death. And you're comparing apples and pears because it is not. I understand the frustration, don't get me wrong, but it is not the same situation. This is a World Rugby ruling.
Yeah.
And that ruling came in to aid people like Tonga and Fiji that lose massive amounts of players to Australia and New Zealand, and then they'll play 2 or 3 seasons and then they get cast aside.
Yeah.
And up until that point, they weren't able to switch back to Tonga or Fiji, whereas now they can. I think.
Well, that's right. It's like Charles Pittau's gone back and Israel Folau's gone to Tonga, and
it kind of shafts us for the World Cup, I'll be honest, because our easy game ain't so easy anymore.
But Wales are not the only Tier 1 nation to do this, because Scotland have done it as well. Rory McConaughey, he played for England at the World Cup. He was named in the Scotland squad for the Six Nations. So it's not just Wales doing it. There are other tier 1 nations. People seem to think, oh, yeah, this is just for the tier 2 nations. No.
But they were also talking
tier one
to
nations.
John Cooney as well, going from Ireland to Scotland.
Yeah,
There was also that looking.
Yeah.
Wales won't be the first. They won't be the last
No,
to take
God,
advantage
no.
of this. So I'm fine with it.
Well,
if Gatland thinks...
We did start it all with Granny Gate and Brett Sinkinson, you know? And Shane Howarth.
I liked Sinkinson. I thought he was an excellent player. But
if he thinks that's going to improve the squad and he thinks he's a better option than the other tight head props, I mean, you know, if you're Sam Wainwright, for example, you might be a bit pissed off. But if he thinks he's a better option, he's a scrummer, he's experienced, then I've got no issue with it. People are losing their shit about it. I am fine, as long as he can step up to it.
It's not about the individual, it's about the team, isn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, again, with Sam Wainwright had a massive amount of shit when he came into the Scarlets, and it was all about, to keep him for an extra week in the bloody autumn internationals and stuff. And, you know, I stood up for him at the time because he was coming to the Scarlets, and, you know, I just felt he deserved the chance. I'm not that bothered that he's not involved in this side. I think he needs time to do two things. One, he needs time to work out how to kind of mature as a prop. And more importantly than that, he needs time to find a decent fucking hairdresser that would get rid of that mullet.
Now, I like the mullet.
Oh,
keep the mullet.
Good Lord, no. If he can get rid of that mullet, then I've got his back. No problem at all. I think things like this get overlooked. Haircuts and facial moustaches and all this kind of stuff need to be an important decision when making the World Cup squad. That's why Thomas Williams is on very ropey ground with that moustache. 60s porn star. It's just not. It's not doing it for him.
I'm sorry. I mean, him and Aaron Wainwright.
Yeah, Aaron Wainwright. Put him in a leather police outfit at the Blue Oyster Club, and he fits in there, right? No problem at all. Do you know what I mean? So,
anyway, moving on.
People listening to this going, "What's the Blue Oyster Club?" Need to go and watch Police Academy. Films. Yeah,
we should discuss the curious case of Joe Hawkins, because he has put out a statement, and it's been a big shitstorm about this. Exeter have turned around and done nothing to do with me, Gov. They're having no responsibility, they're having fuck all to do with. Rob actually went, nope, nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what it's to do with. It's to do with the player's agent, whoever that may be. You know, they're there to guide and influence or not. But signing that, prior to the 25 cap rule, it was 60 caps. So it shouldn't have really made a difference. You know, he's now been capped by Wales. He hasn't got enough. He's signed for Exeter. He's gone for the money, and possibly good luck to him.
So, my understanding of it, and before I say what my understanding of it is, you know, I'm not a legal person. I'm not an agent or anything like that. This is just my understanding that he felt that he had he felt he wasn't on a senior contract. He wasn't on a fully professional contract. He felt that he was still on an academy contract, not a professional contract. So it was irrelevant about whether he played for Wales before signing for Exeter, because that's what the PRB is saying, isn't it? He signed for Exeter after he'd played his first cap or something. And that was why he was not eligible for playing for Wales or something like that after. So there are very few people that are going to know the actual details of this. There's going to be him, his agent, and probably his really close family, and a couple of people at the Ospreys. And I'm willing to bet the number of people at the Ospreys is very, very limited. That contract would have been a negotiation between 2 or 3 people, you know. And if he is still on an academy contract, that might have been 5 years ago he negotiated that academy contract. Do you know what I mean? So 5 years ago, we were in a different place.
The one part of that statement you put, and I do want to read it because it is pretty important. So he says, I want to acknowledge that by signing for the Exeter Chiefs, my first professional contract, right? I have fully prioritised my rugby career I've done so with my professional development, personal development, and financial security in mind, right? But then he goes on to say this: the turbulent period in Welsh rugby, where there were no contracts on offer in Wales, put all out of contract players under pressure. Witnessing the number of players currently out of a job in Wales has reinforced my decision. Further, while I have spent the last 3 years playing professional rugby and later international rugby, I have been held to a academy contract, being significantly underpaid.
Yeah.
So he's felt that he's been underpaid and undervalued, and that's why he's moved. But the thing is this, right? It's quite nuanced, this case, isn't it? It's quite complicated. When he signed that contract to Exeter, he must have known in the back of his mind that he was taking the risk with his Wales place. He must have done, because if you do not meet the required threshold of caps and you've been capped and you sign for another club outside of Wales, you are taking a risk. And he must have known. He must have had some idea. Or is it what some people are saying? Did he have bad advice from an agent? Somebody said, look, get this deal done. We'll sort it out with the PRB. We'll find a loophole. We'll find something.
Yeah, we'll find a way.
Yeah. Or has that just completely backfired? But, the one thing I will say, he must have known.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for going. It was absolutely right. I mean, the scene in Wales was awful. Boys didn't know if they had jobs. But on the other hand, maybe he could have held on, because other players have held on and they've got their contracts at the Ospreys, haven't they? Nicky Smith, Kieran Williams. So there's that aspect as well. He was taking a risk when he signed that contract, even though I understand the reasons why. He must have known in the back of his head he was taking a risk.
Yeah, they say, had he signed it prior to, getting these caps, or had he signed it after the first cap, who knows?
Well, to put into context for people, from what I know of an academy contract, okay? So an academy contract tends to be a 5-year contract. First year is $2,000, second year is $3,000, third year is $5,000, fourth year is $10,000, fifth year $15,000. By the time you get to your fourth and your fifth year, you tend to be playing senior rugby, and you tend to then get an additional contract on top of that of payment fees and things like that. So every time you appear for the seniors, you'll get a payment fee. So that's my understanding of academy contracts and how they work. So if he was on an academy contract, even if he was in his last year of an academy contract, let's say he was on $15,000, yeah, he's turning out and he's playing against people that are on $100,000 contract. He's playing in Europe against people that could be on, $200,000, and he's earning $15,000. You cannot blame the guy for going, actually, here's a check that when you're on $15,000, work that out by month and by year, by week. $15,000 is before tax. You're talking about earning £1,000 a month. That's how much you're taking home.
I don't blame him at all. And when you read the circumstances, he is right. There were no offers on the table. It was very worrying. Like, he's gone for financial security and first development. I don't blame him at all. But what I am saying, he must have known that he was going to take a risk when he signed it. It was always that element of risk that he may not get picked for Wales. But I tell you what was interesting as well is Will Rowlands. So he was in the squad, and we found out this week, apparently, his Dragons contract runs until October, which is convenient, isn't it? I didn't think it'd last that long.
I think quite a lot of players will have a 2-month extension.
Absolutely.
So he's on 23 caps, and all he needs now is, because they're playing 3 warm-ups, isn't he? It's England twice and South Africa. All he's got to do now is just pick up those 2 caps, and he'll get to 25. And
5 minutes at the end of each game, happy days.
Yeah.
No injuries, and off he goes.
What I will say, is if we'd have been doing this pod for the last 5 years or whatever, we'd have gone into the last World Cup and we'd have gone, look how many players in this training squad are injured. Yeah. And the whole thing about stupidity is making the same mistake over and over and over. You look at how many players in this squad are currently out injured or just coming back from injury. Yeah. So people like, Ryan Elias is out injured. Dewi Lake has had 1 game back from injury. Thomas Francis, is he still injured or did he come back? Can't remember.
He played at Judgment Day, didn't he, Tom Francis?
Yeah, but I think that was his first game back after injury. Ben Carter hasn't had a lot of games this season. Corey Hill played in Japan. Alan Wynne-Jones needs a wheelchair to get on the pitch. Will Rowlands still injured, James?
Still injured, yeah.
Yeah, so he's injured. Yeah.
Johnny Williams probably will be injured by the time they finish training, so rule him out.
Probably will be, yeah. Dan Lydiot spent most of the season injured.
But playing well now.
Jack Morgan still out injured, yeah.
There's going to be injuries, isn't there? And players are going to come and go.
But Justin Tipperick injured. Well, do you know what I mean? There is particularly back row where you look at, out of that back row, Jack Morgan injured, Tipperick injured, but Lydiot just back from an injury. As 3 players in the area where within Welsh rugby we are strongest in the back row, where you've got people like Thomas Young, Griffiths at Dragons, you've got Dan Davis, we've got
Jim Botham,
Botham, we've got a massive amount of depth, but we're putting 3 players in there that are either out injured or just back from injury. Makes no sense. To me, makes no sense.
Do you know what the frustrating thing for me is going back to Joe Hawkins again? We're back at square one now for the centre partnership, because during the Six Nations, we were led to believe that Joe Hawkins and Mason Grady were going to be the centre partnership going forward and into the World Cup.
Yeah.
And what's happened now is it feels like a bit of a waste now. We haven't really learned anything because we're losing Joe Hawkins. What is our centre partnership now?
Because I'd like to see Kieran Williams and Johnny Williams. That's my centre partnership.
But I don't think Warren Gatland knows what his best centre partnership, and I don't think he knows what his best Wales 15 is. But are we going to go back now to what we saw in France when we had Nick Tompkins and George North? And if so, what was the point of playing Hawkins and Grady like that together? Because now it just seems like a waste. It feels like we've gone back to the drawing board now, doesn't it?
Especially when you're bringing in someone like Joe Roberts, who is very different to the players. You've got Joe Roberts and Nick Tompkins in that backline that are quite expansive and creative, running around the outside and what have you. And then you've got a lot of very, very direct players, people like Grady, Llewellyn, George North, not a centre for me. But Johnny Williams direct, Kieran Williams direct. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We haven't got a lot of creativity in that backline. We've got, and we saw this on Judgment Day, and we said at the time, Kieran Williams was playing excellent, superb at inside centre. You put him at outside centre where they played him on Judgment Day, and he literally needed a step a player. And he was in for a 45-metre run-in, no problems at all. And he took the inside shoulder and took the 10 metres because he's a 10-metre player.
Yeah.
And you just look at who have we got there as an expansive player. You look at from 10 out, you've got Anscombe, not very creative. Dan Bigger, lovely little player, not creative. Costello, all creativity, not necessarily game management. And Owen Williams, a little bit of both. But do you know what I mean? We've not got anyone there. Someone like Jared Evans that you'd go, if you want to play a creative game, we want to play an expansive game, you throw Jared Evans in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Gatland's gone, this is the kind of game I'm playing. We're playing a very direct.
I think Bigger's going to be the man at 10. Bigger's going to be a man at 10.
Yeah, I do too.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's ruined the fucking less select, the first 15 now. that's one tick in the box already.
Yeah, already, absolutely.
Yeah. But, yeah, I just think there's too many players in that side who are similar and just prone to injury. I think, his pre-season camps, his pre-World Cup or pre-Six Nation camps are renowned for being intense and players going home injured and knackered. And you look down that squad and you go, do you know what? He's going to pretty much narrow that down to 30-odd players quite quickly just through injuries, and you're not fit, son. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that done, gents. That's that all done and dusted. Is there anybody there that we missed?
Wales women. We need to mention them quickly.
Yeah. Well done.
Did I not mention them at the start?
No, you didn't. So well done to the Welsh women.
Okay.
First win out in Italy in 7 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they are now in the top tier for the Rugby World Cup. Is it the Rugby World Cup or the league?
WXV, WXV
or
something like that.
Yeah. It takes a while to understand that actually the women's game organised different to the men's. And full respect to them for doing it.
Brilliant as well. Absolutely fantastic to watch. And they've done excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Wales are now 6th in the world, which is the highest ever ranking.
Yeah. And
look what a year of professionalism has done to them.
Yeah.
Well, more of it to come. Brilliant.
What we'll do is we've got a couple of rods in the fire there of people that we can talk to do a women's Six Nations review with women's players. So we'll dedicate a whole bonus pod to that. So at some point that is coming. Stay tuned. And I know there are a couple of people who are involved in the Welsh women coaching team who listen to this pod. So, Johan, you're very welcome to get in touch. I'd quite happily have a chat with you, mate. But yeah, we will have a chat with quite a few women's players as we go through. So, before we finish up, I should have done this at the start, didn't I? Yeah. So, now that we've made the end of the season, I want to bring in a new feature, right?
Oh, Christ.
Listeners' questions. Yeah. So, we've got a couple of people that just throw like 10 questions at us every week. And
which is great.
Which is lovely. And most of them we're covering anyway. So one, not necessarily a question, but one comment I had this week is, can you swear less? So my answer to that is fuck off, no. And that's the way we are. But
you should do it, because like I said, young children listen to this pod.
No, your daughter listens to this pod, mate,
and she's young,
and she goes, "Fuck me, Dad. Lee's got a point there."
No, she doesn't. Lee. Anyway.
So, if anybody want to send us in questions, either on the season's gone, on World Cup warm-ups, on rugby in general, we'll probably do a pod at some point on English Premiership. Throw us your questions. Let's have them, and we'll get to them next week at some point.
Can I just also add as well? Thank you to the people who have left reviews on iTunes. Really appreciate it. Some really good reviews. We had one from Britt Gurley who said, "Love this podcast. It's like sitting at the table next to these guys in a pub, eavesdropping on their rugby chat. Highly recommended." And I think that sums up really well.
Thank you.
4 or 5 reviews. And so if you are listening to us on iTunes and you like what you hear, please can you rate and review us? It really would help us. It helps the algorithm, so it'd be much appreciated.
So do you remember one of the first things we had, or the first bits of feedback we had from someone was listening to you lot as like 4 wankers sitting in a pub talking shit about rugby for an hour? And we all went, I'm not sure if that's an insult or a compliment. So it's not much has changed, has it?
That's what we're after.
We're still there.
We've had good reviews. So Martin Lewis, who is a regular listener to this pod, as we know, he left a really nice review for us as well. I'd highly recommend it to any Welsh rugby fans. Really approachable and generous with their time in responding to listeners too. Gives good insight into the academy teams.
Don't big up Lee, Martin. Come on now, mate.
Apparently he does. Thank you very much for those who have reviewed us on iTunes. Thank you.
Yeah. So send your questions in for next week. It's in that little weird bit of the season in between your rugby finishing, other people are playing, but we're just gonna Keep going for
I'm sure there'll be more Welsh news coming out in the next few weeks. So there always is, and obviously with players coming and going as well, and the way after all that's happened this season. But obviously we got the big Rugby World Cup to look forward to as well.
Yeah,
which I'm going to. I got tickets. Sorry,
bastard.
Can't wait.
Stop showing off, Carwyn.
Yeah,
can't wait.
I like the way you said I've got tickets, and then Reese went, "Nah, you're all right. I'm going with a mate."
Go with a mate. Yeah, cheers, Reese.
I'm going with someone I like.
Yeah.
And the rest of us suckers got to watch on bloody ITV. Oh.
Yeah.
Why can't it be on the BBC or anywhere but bloody ITV?
Keep the powder dry, James. Keep the powder dry. We got weeks to build up about fucking commentators on ITV, mate.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
okay, fair enough.
Gents, on that note, it is time to say farewell and good night. And lovely to speak to you. We'll do it all again next week, gents.
Happy days.
Take care, everyone.
Ta-da.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Ta-da. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Wrap Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording it. Please do rate us and tell your friends, as it really helps us to grow and get better. We'll be back next week with more of the same, and until then, enjoy your rugby.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.